Hi everyone, thanks a lot for joining us. We're going to take you through a tech hiring story with one of our clients, Product Madness. So we're going to start with some introductions. I'm Sam Davies, the CEO of Relinks, the employer referral platform, and I'm going to be joined later in this presentation by Catherine Hainsworth, who is the Senior Talent Acquisition Partner at Product Madness. And we're going to be looking at referrals and them being the secret to hiring great tech talent fast. So in terms of what we're going to be covering, we're going to look at challenges with tech recruitment, why referrals could be the solution, how you can make referrals work for tech, how referrals can support D&I in tech, and then I'm going to hand over to Catherine, who'll talk through the Product Madness case study before some Q&A at the end. So when it comes to tech hiring, I think it's generally acknowledged in the market, it can be challenging. 45% of recruiters said tech recruitment is a huge challenge. 61% of companies say access to dev talent is a bigger threat to business than investment. And the industry average to hire a developer being 62 days highlights that. And on the diversity side of things, 1.4 times reported revenue increase from having diverse tech teams, just highlighting the importance of diversity hiring for tech. Referrals should be a good solution for tech hiring. Developers train together, they attend meetups, they're well networked on GitHub, on LinkedIn. They've got varied skills and experience within their networks, and they also have a good understanding of the skills required for developer roles. They're also available to work flexibly and remotely, and they often know and trust each other. So why haven't referrals worked for tech in the past then? I'm going to take you through some of the key reasons and how you can address them. So one of the key reasons is because developers aren't motivated by the referral rewards. They're not recognised for the actions which lead to referral hires, the making of a referral, an application, an interview. Referral bonuses are very much based on success in most referral schemes that we see. And that's essentially being paid out when somebody's hired or when somebody passes probation. And that means there's a really long-term wait for referral bonuses. And interestingly, cash isn't always king. We hear a lot when we're speaking to developers that they're not asked what they want in terms of rewards. So how do you address this? Well, bring in a rewards methodology. What we do with our clients, and what we recommend any companies doing, is running focus groups to understand what rewards matter to your employees. Recognition and rewards for referrals, for applications and interviews, not just hires. And making those rewards a bit more immediate, removing that long-term wait. So for example, you could be running raffles, points-based leaderboards to encourage competition, and you could have a monthly winner for the raffle or a monthly winner for the points-based leaderboard to make that a bit more achievable and a bit more exciting for the developers that you're trying to get engaged with your scheme. And then it's so important to celebrate success, comms, putting out what people have won, making it clear what they could win, and that makes a big difference to engagement. So I'd highly recommend looking at a rewards methodology if you want to see that engagement go up in terms of developer referrals. Another reason why there's low participation with referrals is because there's too much stigma around them. When we run focus groups with employees at companies, they'll often tell us there's a lot of concern about reputational damage. And there's this feeling amongst them that referrals really need to be recommendations, somebody they can really vouch for. And then you'll ask them, well, okay, well, if it's got to be a recommendation, how many people do you feel comfortable referring? And the answer you usually get is around 5 to 10 people. And this is despite speaking to people who've got potentially thousands of LinkedIn connections, lots of whom would be relevant for roles. But they feel that introductions to those people wouldn't be appropriate because, again, they're scared about their reputational damage. So how do we address this? Well, how about encouraging social introductions to get more referrals? Comms to explain you want introductions as well as recommendations, and also explain the difference between those two types of referrals. An introduction being somebody who looks to have the right skills and experience within your larger network. A recommendation perhaps being someone who they've worked with before or have more of a personal relationship with. And then it's really important to give employees comfort that they're not responsible for the selection process. And again, that can be done through comms. And interesting, when they make the referral, we found that it's really important to let them say what type of referral it is so that they feel comfortable that you're not going to view it as a recommendation and it is going to be more of an introduction. So another problem that comes up time and time again is that the referral process takes too long. We hear in these focus groups that my networks are unmanageable. It takes too long to find suitable candidates. It's difficult for me to know who would be a good fit for a job within that network, and the actual referral process, putting somebody forward, it's a bit unclear. It's also quite manual and slow. There's lots of chasing required. And as soon as they have this one bad experience, they're going to stop referring, and you've lost them, and you've lost a potential great source of candidates. So I'm going to do a little plug of our system here, because it does really address this, and it's through our auto matching solution. So employees, when they join our platform, are allowed to connect their network, so their network on LinkedIn or on email, for example. We then will take all of their connections and start matching them to live job vacancies, and will then notify HR teams and employees as and when a match has been made. So that makes it so much easier for the employees, because they're being told when somebody looks to be a good candidate for them to refer. But on your side, it's also helping to ensure quality, and it makes the whole process simple and quick. There's still this feeling, this one nagging feeling we hear from employees around the referral process and why they don't engage more. The fact that they have zero visibility. They don't get notifications about new jobs when they come up. I mentioned it before, but they find the rules and rewards unclear. And then this is, I would say, something that comes back at 95% of the time. My referrals go into a black hole. And then they start thinking, I don't know if this is actually true. In fact, the research which we've done suggests that it doesn't quite correlate. But they feel that the referred candidates are having a bad experience. And a lot of that is to do with the fact that they're not getting updates themselves. So referral communication is absolutely key here. So this is putting job vacancy notifications for the employees on their preferred communication channel. And I say this, preferred communication channel, because it is really important. I mentioned focus groups earlier on in this presentation. And in those focus groups, we really try to understand, is it Slack? Is it Teams? Is it email? Is it WhatsApp? How do they want to hear about the latest job vacancies? Because if we want them to engage, we've got to be telling them about those job vacancies on those channels. So important here, providing updates on the progress of the people that they've referred, as they go through. Have they moved on from the application stage to interview stage? Have they been hired? If you start doing this, it honestly makes such a big difference towards engagement. Use ambassadors for promotion. Find people within your organization who can help push this program for you and tell people about it. This final point has worked really, really well for some of the companies that we work with, and that is guaranteeing response times when people make referrals, saying that you'll come back within a certain period of time. So we've looked at how to boost participation, but the problem remains that legacy referral schemes haven't helped D&I and tech. There are a few reasons for this. There's very much this friends and family referral mentality. It comes back to the recommendations point that I was making earlier. People tend to be recommending people like them, people from similar backgrounds to themselves. We also hear from employers when we challenge them on this during the focus groups that I've talked about, that there's poor communication about the diversity goals and about what the employer is looking for them to do when it comes to referrals. And with every company that we deal with, there's very little data on referral analytics specifically around D&I to track and improve what's happening. So how do we address this? Well, we have 5 pillars for D&I referral success. The first one is encouraging social introductions in our wider networks. Going back to what I talked about earlier, the fact that we should be pushing introductions beyond the recommendations, that small pool of 5 to 10 people. Our wider networks tend to be far more diverse than recommending friends and family, which is how referrals have historically happened. Additionally, I talked about the auto matching technology that we use, i.e. when an employee joins the platform, they can connect their networks, and our platform matches their networks to live job vacancies, notifying them when a match has been made. Now that matching process is very much based on skills, not relationships. So what we hear from employees is actually, oh, well, I hadn't thought of this person, but they've been identified as a match, so I'm now going to refer them. Encouraging people to refer in those wider networks, and again, supporting the idea of more diversity. On the recruiter side of the platform, they're able to see where any of their employees' connections have been matched to live job vacancies and ask the employees to make a referral, prompt them to make a referral basically. Now we anonymise all of the personal identifiers for employees' connections for the recruiter view of the platform to remove any unconscious bias from the process. Additionally, we're working closely with employee resource groups or affinity groups. So one of the groups that we're working with at the moment, or just kicking off with, is a Women in Tech group. And I talked about sort of reward campaigns and the rewards methodology. So we're going to be running specific campaigns with the Women in Tech group to encourage participation with referrals and to help push diversity within the tech team through them referring people within their networks. And content sharing can be really powerful as well. It's another feature of the platform, and it allows companies to ask their employees to share content which very much explains that they are a diverse and inclusive place to work, and encouraging people to apply for jobs there from different backgrounds. And we track this, and we help companies to improve this through our diversity analytics, really measuring that, trying different things, trying to make this as effective as possible. And if all of this is supported by a clear D&I strategy that is widely communicated from leadership, this can be a really, really powerful way to make referrals a key part of your D&I strategy. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Catherine Hainsworth, who's Senior Talent Acquisition Partner at Product Madness, and she's going to talk about her experience using the RealLinks platform. Over to you, Catherine.
Hi, I'm Catherine. I'm the Senior Talent Acquisition Partner for Product Madness. Product Madness are a leading UK-based mobile game studio. Our speciality focuses around social slots games, so we've got top grossing games in the US and Australian markets. We've currently got around 190 people in the office in London, ranging from developers, platform specialists, product managers. I think for us, one of the main challenges is the competition within the market, combined with our disparity between employer brand and consumer brand. So our main consumer brand or market is based in the US and Australia. That means most keen developers don't leave university dreaming of working on our games because they've never heard of them before. This factor, I guess, coupled with growing number of competitors in the digital world who are able to offer similar salaries, benefits and career development, means that for us, and like most of the tech sector, we have to rely on word of mouth and really quick action in order to snap up the best talent. We've also got to consider the growing number of tech startups that, because of the lack of brand presence, they just throw money at the solution and can kind of outprice us in the market. As a business, we've always tried to have referrals play an active part of our sourcing techniques, really. So we try to make sure that all employees are aware of new roles. But this did kind of prove to be quite challenging and arduous at times, really. So we had limited engagement, although we had a pretty sizable referral bonus. I don't think it's fair to say that we had no success. Like we have had some success in the past, but it's a real challenge to kind of ensure that the quality and the quantity of referrals was consistent. So we kind of sat down at the end of last year and wanted to get to the bottom of what was really happening here. So how are we going to change people's mindset from a reactive, my friends reached out to me because they've seen a job post on LinkedIn, to a proactive, I'm going to share this with the market and I'm going to really act as an extension of the employer brand and really get our employees to act as an extension of the TA team. So we did speak with a few providers, but what really set RealLinks aside for us was the integration with our existing social networks, the matching process, which is so easy for our employee base and for us as a HR function, and the gamification, which for a games company, the guys just really got on board with. So yeah, from the first call, it was really good to be able to see the levels of engagement and automation that the platform allowed us to have. So the customer success team spent so much time kind of going into the granular detail behind the system, understood our referral scheme, how we were going to make this work best for us. So probably one of the favourite parts of the process was sitting in on the focus groups. So they ran that with our employee base. It was really insightful to see what mattered to them and what was going to make them refer more, what pitfalls we've fallen into in the past, and really we then saw at that point how agile the platform was able to be so it could really meet our specific needs. So in the first 3 months of the year during the pilot period, we'd already seen more referral hires than we saw in the entirety of last year. So we've seen really from kind of January to March a 25% increase year on year in just that 3 month period, which is astronomical for us. That wasn't just a case of us hiring lots more people. The proportion of referral hires was significantly higher as well. So it's kind of 11.4% in 2019 versus 20% year to date so far, which is massive for us. Aside from the end result of hiring people, Real Links has definitely increased the level of engagement around referrals in our business. There's more people asking questions, wanting to find out more, and keeping an eye out for friends that they could recommend, or just really keeping an eye on their social networks.
Now we're going to take you through a demo of some of the features that Catherine highlighted just now. So what you're seeing on screen is the dashboard that employees view when they first come onto the platform. So they're able to see the latest jobs, and also shown when they have matches in their network for particular jobs. And we're able to do this matching by connecting to employees' LinkedIn, GitHub, email, and other networks, of course with their consent. So for this software engineer role, I've just clicked into, I can see where any of my connections have been identified as a match, and it looks like I've got some good connections here. So I think that Ada and Emmanuel would be a good fit for this particular job, and then I can easily refer them by clicking refer your contacts, and it allows me to share it with them using the different sorts of social media sharing that you can see on screen now. But I don't just need to refer by identifying matches. It also allows me to just share more generally in my network, and again I can use the same easy sharing features to do that. And finally, if I was sent a CV by one of my contacts and I just wanted to upload it the slightly more traditional way, the system obviously allows me to do it that way as well. So sort of 3 really easy ways that you can refer your contacts using the platform. Now we're looking at the same job on the recruiter side of the platform. And I'm going to show you how recruiters can use the platform to proactively source and encourage referrals. This is showing the recruiter, out of all of their employees' connections, which ones have been matched to this particular role. We've removed all of the personal identifiers like name, gender, ethnicity, which makes the platform GDPR compliant. But I found some candidates that I think look to be a good fit. I can select those candidates and request a referral, at which point it shows me which of my employees were connected to those candidates, and I can click continue to send them an email and request a referral. The employees are also kept up to date on the status of their referrals, as you can see on screen now. At the point at which somebody applies, the person who referred them is asked whether it was a recommendation or an introduction. This is important as it means that employees feel comfortable referring beyond the small pool of recommendations in their wider network, and helps you to understand what that referral means. So I just want to show you the gamification functionality that Catherine referred to in her video. So what you're seeing on screen is a raffle-based leaderboard with people earning raffle tickets for shares, for referrals, for applications. It could be for interviews as well. It could be for connecting their network. We can customize this depending on what the client wants. As well as customizing those features, we could also set it up so it is instead a points-based leaderboard, and you can see how instead of having raffle tickets, the employees could earn points for different actions which lead to a referral. And we can set it up so it's a department-based leaderboard as well, with the different departments competing against each other for the different actions which lead to a referral. The key thing here is that we can customize this to meet companies' unique needs. And I think Catherine mentioned on her video that we run focus groups where required. We can go into organizations, understand employee motivations, what they would care about, and then tailor this gamification piece around them. So the final thing I wanted to show you is our content sharing functionality. Companies can easily include content on the platform, and employees can then share that content, earning raffle tickets or points for doing so. Thanks a lot for joining for the presentation. I think we've now got around 10 minutes of Q&A, so over to you.